fell through the strike zone. He was a doubles type hitter in the Cape Cod League. He did homer 7 times in the Cape Cod League and 154 at-bats, and that's a wood bat league if you guys aren't aware. So when players play in the Cape Cod League during the summer, all of those games are with wood bats, and in 154 at-bats, he did hit 7 home runs. He's played shortstop, he plays second base. Defensively, he's at least average, if not better than average. But he's an offensive-minded player. He reminds some, and there have been some comparisons to Keston Hiura, the Brewers' second baseman. And we know Hiura went in the top 10 of the 2017 draft. There is a little more confidence in the defense of Nick Gonzalez than there would be in Hiura. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go in the top 10 of the 2020 draft in the first round. Remember that name. Okay, I'm giving you these names this morning. I'll repeat the top 5 that I've talked about so far. Spencer Torkelson, Austin Martin, Asa Lacy, Emerson Hancock, and Nick Gonzalez. The 6th player that I'm going to mention to you this morning is out of UCLA. It's Garrett Mitchell. Garrett Mitchell is a 21-year-old, 6'3", 204-pounder, and not only can he hit, he can run like the wind, okay? He has a 60 graded hit tool, a 70 graded run tool, a 50 graded power tool, and a 60 graded arm. Now, Mitchell was a big prospect coming out of Orange Lutheran High School in California. He was in the middle of the draft, top 100 in 2017. He's got every tool. UCLA took him. He didn't go into the draft that year. He was, in fact, not selected in the 2017 draft until the 14th round by the Oakland A's. And going into UCLA, he hit consistently, showed plus power. He's big, he's strong, he's a plus runner, he can steal bases. He's a center fielder. Now, the only knock on him is his health. He's been playing with type 1 diabetes since being diagnosed in the 3rd grade. But he has shown since the 3rd grade, he not only can play the game, but he can play it with the utmost of ability. So, he's probably the best collection of tools, hit tool, run tool, power tool, arm tool in the entire class. And he could be in the top of the conversation had he been able to have played his junior year. So not playing this year in college, I think, may have taken away a top of the draft pick potential for Garrett Mitchell. Now, all of these players have had a chance to be working out on their own, but it's not the same as competition. But still look for Garrett Mitchell to be taken in the top 10 of this year's draft. The first player that I want to talk about coming out of high school is Zach Veen. That's Veen. Zach Veen is an outfielder out of Spruce Creek, Florida, 18 years old. I'm looking at his birthday, guys. December 12, 2001. Now, does that not make you feel just a tad bit older, knowing now that players are being drafted in the Major League Draft with regularity who were born in the 21st century? I'm telling you. Coming out of high school, not playing his senior year, but Zach Veen has a hit tool of 60, run tool of 50, overall at 55. So they're thinking about Zach Veen. Have you ever heard of Zach Veen? That's the question. There have been a lot of high school outfielders who've been famous for a lot longer than Veen, if you will. He's a Daytona Beach area standout. He was the 2018 WWBA Underclass World Championship MVP a year ago. He had a hot start to his spring, but then, of course, the hot start cooled when the season was canceled. He's a lefty. He has a 6'4" frame, as I told you. Look for him to add strength to that frame. And he's more hit power in games. He has excellent bat speed. He utilizes a spread out stance. If you watch him, he gets the most, I'll call it wingspan out of that swing. Big-time power in batting practice. He's reminded some of Cody Bellinger. Probably not quite as fast, not quite as speedy as Bellinger, but the swing does draw comparisons. He's an average runner, plays center field now, but he's probably better suited for a corner outfield spot. He will probably profile to be in right field, and his power potential there could also fit too. So last summer in summer leagues, he was outstanding. Of course, missing this 2020 season. Who knows? But I think you can conservatively pick Zach Veen in your top 10 coming into the 2020 draft. All right, a few more players to go here this morning. Reed Detmers. Detmers played on the national team this summer, wore number 46. He's a lefty out of Louisville. He hails from Chatham, Illinois. That's right, any of you Illini out there. And Detmers is 6'2" and weighs 210 pounds. He was drafted in 2017 out of high school, number 950 overall by Atlanta. He grades out at 55 on all pitching categories: fastball, changeup, curveball, control. He was one of Illinois' best high school pitching prospects in 2017. He wanted to go to Louisville. That made it really clear, hey, I want to go to Louisville. So he went to Louisville, and that's where he excelled. I mean, he really did. And 3 years later, after setting records for the Cardinals in wins, 13 in his first year, strikeouts, 167. He led Louisville to the College World Series as a sophomore in 2019. He served as the United States Collegiate National Team's best starter last summer. I watched him pitch in Durham. He looked really good. He ranked second in D1 in whiffs and whiff rate during the shortened 2020 season. So he had already struck out 48 and was averaging, check this number out, 19.6 strikeouts per nine. And I know it was a short season to the baseball year this year collegiately, but in the short amount of time he pitched at Louisville in 2020, 19.6 strikeouts per nine. That's unheard of, right? A lot of people compare him to former Cardinals, that's Louisville Cardinals star Brandon McKay, who is now with Tampa Bay. Almost an identical build. His fastball range is around 94. His 72 to 76 mile per hour curveball has good shape. And he also has a sinking changeup. Strong, durable, pounds the strike zone. He has some of the best pitchability and mound presence in the draft. Showed it at Louisville. Look for Reed Detmers, a left-hander, to be taken in the top 10 this year. Max Meyer, right-hander, out of Minnesota. Now, let me tell you about Max Meyer. When they were playing this past summer in North Carolina, they also went to Japan. They left North Carolina and went to Japan. And I don't know if you know it or not, but the national collegiate team trains in Cary, North Carolina, which is fairly close to where I live. So I have access to these players quite a bit, and I get to see them at a very young age. And if you want to see a kid when he's approachable, yet still really good, take a trip down to Carolina with me. Let's go to Cary, to the training facility next. If they're playing this summer, I don't know if they will be. But the next time they are, see these kids. You can walk right up to them and start talking to them. They're very personable, sign you an autograph, talk to you a little bit. It's great. Max Meyer, in my opinion, was the pitching ace of the national team. I got a picture that I've posted on the website of the team, and he's the pitcher in the middle wearing number 35. Okay, so when I'm in North Carolina watching him train, getting ready to watch him pitch in Durham at some real games, I find out that Max Meyer has been flown ahead to Japan. They weren't even going to use him in the States. They wanted to save him to make his debut for the team in Japan. Okay, why is that? Well, I can tell you why. Fastball grade, 70. Slider grade, 70. Okay. Power pitcher, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, coming out of high school, drafted in the 34th round by the Twins, said, no, I'm going to Minnesota to play college baseball. So he does. He started at Woodbury, Minnesota High School. He lasted 34 rounds again before the Twins took him. He pitched great at Minnesota. He tied the school record with 16 saves as a freshman. He led the U.S. Collegiate National Team with 7 last summer, or that summer rather. And desperate for starters, then the Gophers, after his freshman year, shifted him to the rotation in his sophomore year. How did he respond? Pretty well. 2.11 ERA. That tied for second overall in the Big Ten Conference. And he, listen to this, tied the Team USA lead in ERA with an 0.69 mark. I told you, he was the ace of that staff. He owns the best slider in the 2020 draft. It's a wipeout slider that is around 90 to 91 miles per hour. He can add and subtract depth on it. He has a four-seam fastball, which ranges between 95 to 97. He hit 98 in the ninth inning of one start and maxed out at 100 miles per hour. He has a great changeup. Now, there are concerns about his durability. There are concerns about, can Meyer start at the highest level? There's not a lot of meat on those bones. He's a lean 6-footer. But he has a fluid delivery. He fills the strike zone. And he's going to be a top 10 pick. Okay? Do you remember the highest drafted pitcher ever for the Minnesota Gophers prior to now Max Meyer? I won't make you wait on this one. I'll tell you. It's Glenn Perkins. I think he used to play guitar in Nashville. Now, anyway, I'm kidding, of course. But Glenn Perkins was the number 22 pick overall in 2004, and never to be heard of again, apparently, after the 2004 draft. That, I don't think, will be the case with Max Meyer. Look for him to get drafted, and don't you know the hometown Twins would love to be able to pick him up. I'm telling you. But he's going to be drafted in the top 10 of the draft. And finally for today, and this kid, I'm going to just tell you, I'm not impressed with him that much. He's ranked in the top 10, but he won't talk to you. I try to have a conversation with him. He just walks away. I mean, I'm not big on that. But his name's Heston Kjerstad. Okay, so I got big league by a freshman in college. Not a good start. Of all these players, he's the only one that I saw that kind of attitude with. All right? You need to know this stuff. 21 years of age, he's a lefty. He has a power tool of 60, but a hit tool of only 45. And I'm going to tell you, when you got a hit tool that's lower than your power tool, I'm concerned about putting the ball in play. He was a 36th round pick by the Mariners as a Texas high schooler in 2017. Did not go into the draft. He decided he would go to college and did. He attended Arkansas. He's from Amarillo, Texas. And at Arkansas, he really did a great job. Strength and bat speed, above average power at all fields. He was one of the top performers for Team USA last summer. He records below average running time out of the batter's box. Displays average speed once he gets going, so he's not going to be a throw on the bases. The upside to Kjerstad is the power. He has 14 homers in 2018, broke the school freshman record. And then in 2019, as a sophomore, Kjerstad hit 17 homers for Arkansas. What he does, he offers the best left-handed power in the 2020 college class. And really, pop-wise, only Spencer Torkelson, who is, I believe, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, has more pop among all collegians. I'm concerned about his attitude. Maybe I caught him on a bad day. Let's give him some slack on that. But otherwise, all these other kids seem to be great kids. They all have great potential. They all have at least that one extraordinary tool that I think puts them in the top 10 of this year's draft. So we're going to stop the draft discussion for today. Remember what I told you, Trey Mancini out for the year. Let's continue to support our podcasters. Great network here, great information. Tonight, Phil Chaplin, got to get ready for the chat, man. He'll be on. Lenny, great job earlier today. I enjoyed it so much. And I'm ready for baseball to come up with a divisional plan so we can get started playing some